What happens when you mix hard techno with David Lynch? This. Look, I'm not the biggest techno guy, so if this isn't exactly hard techno, then this is a song from a project of mine called Greetings from the Hole. So if you want to find this song and other related stuff, you can check the link in the description. I promise there is a strong connection to David Lynch, but I'm going to start with the instrumental stuff since that's how the song started. If you're like me and you're not that much into synths, then you might hear electronic music sometimes and think, wow, I'll never be able to program synth patches like that. Don't worry so much because it's probably either a lot simpler than you think or not even a synth in the first place. And this song is going to prove it to you. So this is entirely based off this one audio sample recorded with this mic of me hitting this table, and this is where we started with. So obviously you can tell that the rhythm is the same, but sonically totally different. This should prove to you that sound design has a lot more to do with effects than with waveforms and oscillators. And you can see how much mileage you can get out of just this one thing using only effects and automation, and also using some of the clip parameters like the warping and stuff like that. So this is the sample again. Warped it to make it more rhythmic and fit the grid a bit more. Just pitch shifting it and not changing the algorithm is already changing the flavor of this sound a lot. So now if we change the algorithm to beats and turn this transient envelope thing down a lot, and we're set to preserving the 16th notes. The rhythm that I played is still the strong accents, but there's a kind of 16th note ghost notes, which are like the artifacts of the beats algorithm preserving all those 16th notes. You can get a lot of mileage just changing the clip parameters, but if you add effects to that in combination, then you're going to get a lot more mileage out of this. There are other effects on this, but the main one is really the decapitator. So now we're in the world of the song just with that one effect. So here the higher pitched ones sound like they could be a completely different synth patch or something like that, but it's still all just the same sample. Pitch shifting up and staying at one spot will give you one effect, but you can see here as the curve goes, it actually kind of glitches it out as it's moving. Sometimes these artifacts can be really unpredictable, so it's worth the time to kind of just spend a few minutes messing around with them and seeing what happens. It again sounds totally different from the other variations that we've had, and the only thing that's changed is instead of being on preserve 16th notes, it's on preserve 8th notes. All the variations that we've had so far have been just from changing parameters within that one warping algorithm called the beats mode, but there are 5 or 6 other ones that each have their own set of artifacts that you can get familiar with. So here it's a combination of pitch shifting and changing the grain size over time. Another way of getting mileage out of one thing is all of the kind of compositional tools that you have at your disposal that you can also add to this. So, for example, in our original loop, we're dealing with 16th notes, but towards the end of the song, another tool that we pull out of the bag is changing the subdivisions to triplets instead. This song was made pretty quickly, so we had to limit the toolbox that we had. So we used pretty much that one audio sample for everything. We used a basic set of effects for everything and just automated parameters within that. So now, David Lynch. So we only had about a week to work on this song. At that time, we weren't really seasoned lyricists, so we didn't really have time to make this amazing song with a bunch of lyrics. The only lyric idea that we had was this one, tip, tip, tip around my problems. Amazing lyric. At the time, we were both watching Twin Peaks, And if you've seen that show, you know that in the Black Lodge, the way people speak is kind of weird. And the reason for that is because the actors actually had to learn how to do the scene in reverse, including speaking the words in reverse. And then later, that footage would be reversed itself. So it feels like everything is happening in like normal human way, but it just sounds off. We were just kind of stealing that as a production idea. So this is what we ended up with. Now, if we remove all the effects and then reverse this, this is what I actually said. So this is me speaking normally, Urielf, that's what I said. But then if you reverse that, the way that we did this was I would just record the word fire, reverse that, and learned what that sounded like and try to say that, and then record me saying the reverse one, and then reverse that again to end up with this. Fire. So we did that for every word. There's not a lot of words in this song, but still. And then in true David Lynch fashion, we inserted a secret message. In the silence, there's little noise going on in the background. We wanted to insert one of those reverse messages that if people hear this song in reverse for whatever reason, they would hear some weird message. So that's what it sounds like if you turn it up a lot. But if you reverse it, this is what I actually said. This means nothing in reverse. So now that I've given that all away, let's end the video. So if you like this track, be sure to follow Greetings from the Hole. We're on YouTube, Instagram, streaming platforms. And if you like breakdowns like this, here's another one that I did of one of my solo projects that I think is pretty cool. Both the song and the breakdown. Let me know what you think.